Today, we are going to talk about metabolic and endocrine diseases that are linked to rheumatic disorders, with a special focus on gout. There are several conditions in this category. They include biochemical problems like amyloidosis and scurvy, endocrine diseases such as diabetes and acromegaly, immune deficiency diseases like HIV and AIDS, and certain inherited disorders such as hypermobility syndromes. But the most common and clinically important are the crystal-induced arthropathies. These occur when crystals, usually monosodium urate or calcium pyrophosphate, deposit in the joints and surrounding tissues. That's where gout and pseudogout come in. Let's focus first on gout, since it is the most frequent form of inflammatory arthritis. More than 8 million Americans report having gout, and the prevalence continues to rise. Men are 3 to 4 times more likely to develop gout than women, but women catch up in incidence after menopause. Risk increases with age, high body mass index, alcohol use, hypertension, diuretic therapy, and even with the consumption of fructose-rich drinks. Patients with gout also face higher risks of cardiovascular disease and often have comorbidities like diabetes, kidney disease, and depression. So what exactly causes gout? The underlying problem is hyperuricemia, or elevated serum uric acid. Uric acid is the end product of purine metabolism, and purines are found in high concentrations in foods like organ meats and shellfish. When uric acid levels rise above 6.8 milligrams per deciliter, the risk of crystal deposition in joints goes up. The crystals trigger an intense immune response. Macrophages phagocytize the crystals, interleukin-1 beta is secreted, and a cascade of inflammation follows. Factors like alcohol and large protein-heavy meals can further fuel this process. With repeated attacks, urate crystals can accumulate into visible nodules called tophi. These are often found around the great toe, fingers, elbows, or even in the ear. Over time, crystals can also deposit in the kidneys, leading to kidney stones or chronic kidney disease. There are several stages of gout. The first is asymptomatic hyperuricemia, where uric acid is high but no symptoms are present. The second stage is acute gouty arthritis, which is the hallmark sudden and painful attack. The third is intercritical gout, where the patient is symptom-free between attacks. And the fourth stage is chronic tophaceous gout, marked by recurrent SOCAS, destructive attacks, and visible tophi. The most common clinical presentation is acute arthritis, often in the metatarsophalangeal joint of the big toe. The attack is abrupt, often at night, waking the patient with severe pain, redness, swelling, and warmth. Early attacks usually resolve within 3 to 10 days, even without treatment, but they tend to recur more frequently and last longer if not managed. Diagnosis can be confirmed by finding urate crystals in the synovial fluid under polarized light microscopy. Now let's move to medical management. Acute attacks are typically treated with colchicine, NSAIDs such as indomethacin, or corticosteroids. Colchicine is especially effective when started early in an attack. Once the acute phase has resolved, long-term therapy is considered. Xanthine oxidase inhibitors, such as allopurinol or febuxostat, are the most common choices. They work by blocking uric acid formation. For patients who cannot tolerate these drugs or who have refractory disease, options include uricosuric agents like probenecid or newer biologic agents such as pegloticase. Management between attacks is equally important. Lifestyle changes make a real difference. Patients should avoid purine-rich foods such as shellfish and organ meats, cut back on alcohol, stay hydrated, and work on weight loss if overweight. Nursing management focuses heavily on patient education. Research shows providers often overestimate how much patients understand about gout. That means nurses play a critical role in reinforcing both written and verbal teaching. Patients should know that strict dietary restriction isn't necessary, but moderation and smart choices matter. Weight maintenance is essential. Medication adherence is also critical. Many patients stop taking their urate-lowering therapy when they feel well, which almost always leads to recurrence. Nurses should emphasize the importance of taking medications consistently and starting treatment promptly at the first sign of an acute attack. During acute flares, pain management is the priority. Patients should avoid known triggers such as alcohol, stress, and trauma to the affected joint. So to wrap up, gout is a crystal-induced arthritis driven by hyperuricemia. It presents with painful recurrent attacks, most often in the big toe, and can progress to chronic tophaceous gout with tophi and organ involvement. Management combines acute therapy, long-term urate-lowering treatment, and lifestyle changes. Nurses are central to patient education, medication adherence, and reinforcing strategies to prevent flares and complications.